Hi, I'm Leander, editor and publisher of Cult of Mac, and this is Kahney's Korner. I went out the other night to meet some friends at a bar, and I left my bag in the back of the car. Of course, 2 hours later, it was broken into, and my bag was stolen with my laptop, an iPad, and a bunch of other stuff, including some checkbooks. This turned out to be a huge pain in the ass. So the biggest problem is that your computer is the repository of every single thing you do, and I did some things right, but I did some things wrong. This is where I'm going to tell you what I did right and what I did wrong. I came back to the car and the back window had been smashed and my backpack had gone. And the thing is, I never leave the backpack in the car, ever. I always take it with me, except of course when I go to a bar. When I got home, I went to find my iPhone, which tracks all your machines. And here's one of the things I did wrong. I didn't have a really good, clear identifier for the iPad and for the MacBook that I stole. Everything was Leander's MacBook, Leander's MacBook, Leander's MacBook. And of course, I tend to get a new MacBook quite frequently, and I hadn't cleared out some of the old ones, so there was about 4 of them on there. And the same thing with the iPad, Leander's iPad, Leander's iPad, Leander's iPad. And I couldn't tell which ones were the ones that I lost and which were the ones I still had in my possession. So I set it to wipe all of them. Because all the iPads and MacBooks had the same username, in the morning when I opened up my MacBook, the one I still had, it locked. So that was actually kind of good and reassuring because I was like, okay, this is working now. So I unlocked it and tried to check in to see whether either of these devices had connected to the internet. And this isn't actually as easy as it seems because I wasn't really 100% sure if Find My iPhone was working properly. So the one thing I did do right is that I had turned on two-factor authentication for both of my email accounts. So I had it on for Google and I had it on for iCloud. And I did this after reading Matt Honan's Sorry Tale of Woe in Wired a couple of years ago, when he was hacked and lost access to all of his information. And it was because the first thing a savvy hacker does is they go in and they change your email password. And that, of course, email is used to reset all your other passwords. If you lose your password on Amazon or eBay, you request a new one and it gets sent to your email. So if you lose access to your email, you're really in trouble. But what I was really worried about was the browser, or browsers. I use Chrome and Safari, and of course, it's set up to remember all of my passwords. And here's one of the dumb things I did. One of my kids uses my MacBook for his homework, and he got tired of logging in with this 21-character password I'd set up, super secure, so he turned it off. Of course, it gets stolen, and as soon as they open it up, if they fire up a browser, there it is. It's remembered all my passwords. So I spent the whole weekend monitoring carefully Find My iPhone to see whether this iPad and this MacBook connected to the internet. And I started worried that it had been stolen by a savvy crook who knew enough not to connect it to the internet, and that they would open up the browser and somehow copy the passwords. Now, that's not possible because they can't copy it from the field, but still, I was paranoid. So I spent the entire weekend changing all of my passwords. And I've been a long-time 1Password user, but I was kind of sloppy. Some of the passwords were easy to guess, and some of them were, I would use Elite, so I put numbers instead of vowels, and it wasn't the best security practice. So I spent an entire weekend changing hundreds of passwords. So my 3 security tips that I learned the hard way from this was: 1, you turn on two-factor authentication for everything, especially for your email. 2, use a strong password program like 1Password to generate these random strings of gibberish that are unguessable, and definitely do not use the same password on any 2 sites, especially for important stuff. And number 3, don't get your stuff stolen. Hey, that was Kahney's Korner, and I hope you learned something from my mistakes. Please follow us at cultofmac.com and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Cult of Mac.